This is ndupree with System Security 2, ISA 4220. We'll talk a little bit today about POP3S and SMTP for Linux and Windows. And what we're going to talk about today is what is POP3S, how to install POP3, configuring IP addresses and ports for POP3, what is SMTP, and of course some hardening recommendations. POP3 is the Post Office Protocol version 3. It is the protocol that clients use to retrieve mail from servers. These servers store their mail on local machines and configure the mail client to retrieve new mail. POP3 servers use username passwords like most. PPO3S is PPO3 over Secure Sockets Layer (SSL). Provides encrypted connection for the post office protocol on port 995, which is the Secure Socket Layer or TLS port. It's a protocol used to connect email provider and retrieve emails using your email client. Local email clients like Outlook, Thunderbird, Windows Mail, and Mac Mail are good examples of PPO3s. PPO3 is a one-way communication protocol. The data is pulled from the remote server and sent to the local client. And Dovecat is the local delivery agent, LDA, which uses the Internet Messaging Application Protocol, IMAP, and PPO3S it's just a good example of PPO3S and what PPO3S is used for. Let's take a look at how to install Dovecat in Linux. First, you want to start with installing Postfix, which is just a free software for open source mail servers. Software program for routing and sending email. To install, you want to app install Postfix, choose internet site, and then place the domain, and then the install should be complete for Postfix. Then you want to restart the Postfix server with the commands systemctl restart, and you must reconfigure the package with dpkg-recon reconfigure Postfix. To install Dovecat, you want to install Dovecat and start and enable the service. You want to use the command line systemctl start Dovecat and systemctl enable Dovecat. How to configure IP addresses and ports for POP3 in Windows. POP3 connections will require an SSL and use port 995, like I said before. In the EAC, navigate to servers. List of servers is to select the client access service and then click edit. On server properties page, click PPO3. Under this unencrypted connections, click add on the add IP address page. Under IP address, choose one of those three of all available IPv4 addresses. All available IPv6 addresses specify on IP addresses, which we'll be using IPv4 like we've been using. Under port, enter a port number and then click save to save your changes. Some hardening recommendations for PPO3S. Set up a mail delivery agent with mail transfer. You should only have one application installed as a mail delivery agent per email server. Make sure you uninstall any existing packages for mail delivery agents. that you don't want to use first. Choosing between PPO3 and IMAP is crucial, and you always have to consider the mail user agents your users have. Change all of your default settings from your mail delivery agent as well, and passwords should change on a regular basis, which is a pretty common hardening recommendation. Test your PPO3 server, review mail delivery agents' functionality, and security should be reviewed on a regular basis according to what's workable for your organization. Secure mailboxes from spam using Spam Assassin. Spam Assassin is a open source. You can install it using DNF-Y. Install Spam Assassin. Spam Assassin determines if an email is spam or not based on the result of different script scores, and of course must be bug free and non-exploitable. Let's take a look at SMTP. It's a simple mail transfer protocol. Its job is to manage the transfer of electronic mail, which is email, from one computer mail system to another. It doesn't accept mail from local users, and it does not distribute mail to the intended recipients. It's also handled by the local mail system. These are usually an I/O queue at the interface between the local mail system and the client server ports. The client is concerned with the sending of mail to another system, while the server is concerned with receiving mail. The local system maintains a mailbox for each user on the system, and the name of this mailbox is unique and consists of two parts. That's the local port and the global port. The local port it's just another name for a user that is unique to local host, and the global port is another name for a host that is unique to the internet. SMTP user transfer mail. After mail is created, the local mail system determines whether or not to place the message in the SMTP output queue. The mail is kept local. It is delivered by the local mail system without SMTP getting involved at all. To send the mail to another machine, the client SMTP first gets the destination IP address from the directory service, which is another name for that is DNS. By using this, the SMTP server, well-known port address 25, a transport connection is established between the server, SMTP, and the destination host. Once the connection has been established, the client starts the transfer of the waiting mail to the server. The session starts with the client establishing a TCP connection with the server, well-known port 25. The server then responds with PDU 220. The client and the server then exchange names with a Hello client name from the client and a corresponding server name response. The mail message starts with a mail from, which is message from the client. After a 250 OK response from the server, the client then sends a RCPT2 indicating the name of the intended recipient of the email. The server then will have two options. It can either send the 250 indicating that the recipient exists on its system, or it can send the 550 recipient not here, which will reset in the message not being sent by the client. Once the OK message has been received by the client, it sends data, which is actually the header of the mail message. Following this, the server should send a 345 ready for mail, indicating that it is now ready for the body of the mail. And then the client then will send the body, which is terminated by a line containing a single full stop. The end of the mail is acknowledged by the server with another 50 message. Finally, the connection should be broken gracefully. The client sends a quit, which is answered by the server using a 221 destination closing message. The connection is then terminated using the normal TCP termination method. This is just the basic functionality which is provided by SMTP. However, other additional features may be provided. Some examples is if the recipient no longer has a mailbox at the intended destination machine, forwarding address could be returned and the message redirected. Another example, after the client has sent its mail, may invite the server to send mail in the reverse direction that has any to send before transport connection is closed. So let's take a look. Some SMTP security practices, hardening recommendations. Authentication to control user access. It's the first one. It forces the people who use your server to obtain permission to send mail by first applying a username and password. Prevent any open relay and abuse of your server. Only known accounts can use your server's SMTP to send email. Configure mail relay options to avoid being an open relay. It's very important to configure your mail relay parameter to be very restrictive. You can specify which domains or IP addresses your mail server will relay mail for. This parameter specifies for whom your SMTP protocol should forward mail. Often subject to denial of service attacks. Limit the total number of connections and settings, the total number of simultaneous connections, and your maximum organization requires. And that's about all I have for SMTP and POP3S. Thank you again for enjoying and watching my video. And these are my sources, of course. Gotta add that in. But yep, thank you for watching.